rather than focusing on all these little teeny tiny influencers, what he did was he found one big influencer to partner with. And his pitch was this: I want to bring you on as a partner, and this is what you're going to get. I'm going to be doing all the work. All you have to do is post about it. All you have to do is talk about it. You are my only client. So I'm focused completely on you, no one else. I have no other people I'm working with. It's all on you. I'll do all the work. All you have to do, all I just need is your audience. You could get 10 people with 100,000 followers and one person with 1 million followers. And it's the same amount of people that are being reached. I mean, there's 10 different people, right? But then there's 10 people you have to worry about, 10 relationships you have to nurture.
Yeah.
If you just have one, then you can put your complete focus in them, and it's a lot more personal.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Benj Sailor Show. Today, we're going to be talking about influencer marketing. We're going to be talking about what that looks like for the brand, but also what that looks like for an influencer. And we're going to be sharing our opinions and what we've learned so far in this almost 6-month journey that we've been on.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about influencer marketing that a lot of you guys probably don't know is it's everywhere. And everything that's being marketed today, almost everyone uses influencer marketing.
It's one
of the number one marketing tools to use.
Well, it's also one of the most expensive marketing tools to use. Because influencer marketing, if you really want to get the top-notch influencer marketing, it is expensive.
It is very expensive to partner with influencers who have massive crowds.
Oh, 100%.
It's insanely expensive. I like to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast or the Joe Rogan Experience. Have you ever listened to that one before?
I've watched clips on Instagram Reels, but no, I don't like listen to it. They're like hours long though.
They are. I've been listening to the Elon Musk and Joe Rogan one that happened a few months ago. And throughout the whole podcast, Joe Rogan will do commercials of him literally promoting a brand. And I'm probably an hour and a half in out of like 3 hours, and he's already done it with like five.
How long are they?
5 different brands. Maybe 3 minutes.
3 minutes? That's a long time.
Maybe. I mean, I was running. I can't really remember.
Dude,
maybe
there's no way it's over 30
30
seconds. There's no way it's over 30 seconds.
No, it's definitely over 30 seconds. Like he talks about it quite a bit. Anyways, though, the reason I bring that up is because I wonder what they're paying him.
His show is like one of the #1 podcasts streamed online.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming from a brand's perspective, looking to possibly partner with influencers, it's a really huge deal. Right now, because it is so new, a lot of people don't know about it. It's really hard to quantify how much you should be spending on influencer marketing versus not.
Yeah. I listened to another podcast from Mark Rober. Remember when I told you about Mark? So before he started selling his products, which is like, he's an engineer, and so he sells like engineer products to kids. Before he started doing that, how he got paid was on his YouTube channel he would do promotions for brands. And he said he would make sometimes like $60,000 a video.
Really?
From one promotion.
So it's not about the views that he gets. They're not paying him per view, or they're paying him just put us in the video.
I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what he said. It might have been per view, but I mean, people make a lot of money off of that. You know, Mark Rober is a huge influencer, especially when it comes to like kids. And so he's getting hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
Anyways, coming to like YouTube and podcasts, I think there's definitely different strategies to like figure out and take into line of what you want to do.
Well, from what I've heard, talking to influencers in the space and talking to also some other brands, YouTube right now is like the #1 way people are being paid. There's a certain thing where once you get to a certain point in views, you have an option to monetize on that platform. And from what I've heard on Instagram and on TikTok, you don't want to monetize. And the reason is because Instagram and TikTok don't actually want to pay you. So what that means is the more they actually push out your content, guess what that means? The more they're going to have to pay you. So realistically, it's incentivizing you to make more videos, but in the long run, it's actually costing you more because you're actually not going to be able to get your video out to more people. From the people that I've heard this from who have like 100K followers, they say it's actually, when they've monetized it, press the monetize button on Instagram, press the monetize button on TikTok. They didn't ruin their account, but it costs them more. Because their views were...
Because they had to pay more to promote it.
Yeah, and they were making...
Interesting.
Well, no. It's because they weren't getting as much views. And organically, from what they were doing, whether it was a course, whether it was a cookbook, whether it was... or whether it's a link to Amazon, they were actually getting less people to see it, and so less clicks were on that. And so the money that they made from there that they missed out on is actually more than what Instagram or TikTok is paying them.
Wow.
But I've heard that it's actually really favorable on YouTube. YouTube does a really good job about pushing your content out, but also
I think
not penalizing you for it.
I think the reason why they are is because YouTube is owned by Google. Google is the most popular web to get you to different websites, right? Their focus is they want to get you to different websites. Instagram's focus is to keep you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so if you're promoting something to someone to go to a different link, they're not going to show it as much because they don't want you to leave Instagram.
Yeah, I've also heard that too, is like including links in your bio or including links in a story. Instagram will recognize you're trying to pick people off of Instagram and they'll actually don't like it.
Yeah, like in your captions, you can't even put a link in a caption.
I know,
anymore.
for Instagram.
You can't do it.
Oh, and you can only put one link per story too. I've tried to put our links on to our YouTube for our podcast on there and links to our Apple podcast, and you can't. You can only pick one. So every now and then they'll see me do YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts because they won't let me put multiple ones.
I didn't know that. Yeah, Ryan Pineda has talked a lot about how YouTube is the number one thing where he gets the most of his money.
Yeah, well, we've also have another guy who has. Let me see how.
While she's looking that up, something that brought to my mind was I recently restarted my Instagram account because when I first got on Instagram and I made my first post, remember this, Sailor? And it was like, boost the post to reach more people. And I had no idea what it even meant. So I clicked boost. And what that did is it made it so Instagram caught my algorithm or whatever it is. And they knew I was willing to pay for a boost. So then they literally stopped pushing my content. Take total views in my old account versus total views in my new account. We're already almost there. And it's only been a week and the other one has been out for a year.
Yeah. I know, it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy to see that Instagram does some dirty stuff.
I wouldn't say necessarily dirty, but they're definitely
they do
secret stuff. And I don't know how they quantify that. I don't know how much that actually is costing them money. I think there are people out there that know that, if that is true. And so I don't know how much it's actually costing them. Because maybe people would boost it more if they knew that, hey, if I actually do boost it, Instagram's not going to realize that I'm willing to pay and actually lower my views. It'll actually push it out more.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to pay and I'm willing to put the time into Instagram and the money into Instagram.
Boosting a post is not bad. If your goal is to make money, then boost a post to get in front of the people you need to sell to.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10, always do that.
Yeah, because
you can do it through Facebook ads, right? Because you don't care about views. You don't care about followers. You care about sales.
You care about short-term sales. And the one thing about the algorithm that you have to remember is when you do boost a post or you run ads through Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, they have certain audiences that they've categorized people in. Like they probably have categorized me with 50 other different tags saying, hey, she likes this and this. Everyone who sees this post needs to match every single one of those tags. Facebook and Instagram do a really good job about knowing who you are. They have a lot of information on you that you don't even know about yourself. And that, I'm interested. I really want to see, what Meta's profiled me as. Because they definitely have to have, a profiler. Something that says, hey, besides the name, this is who this person is.
I'll actually categorize you not by what you create, but by what you consume.
By what you view, yeah. 100%.
It's not about what you say at all. Everything that you look at.
I recently went to a influencer event. Basically what it was is it's called Social Icon, and everyone that was there, almost everyone, were influencers trying to understand how to get brand deals, trying to understand an algorithm of Meta, of YouTube, of TikTok. And so I went there as coming from two different places, as someone who possibly is interested in being an influencer, but also someone who is definitely interested as a brand looking to capture influencers' attention and trying to understand what an influencer wants. So that's what I came there to look at. So I have a bunch of notes, and we'll just kind of be going through this throughout the whole thing, and we'll get your opinion on this, Benj. This is interesting, coming from an influencer looking to land a brand deal. This is something that someone suggested. She said that she follows them, first of all, and then she just starts engaging with everything they post. She comments, likes, puts stuff on her stories that they have posted. And then she does that for an entire week, and then she DMs them. And she said, hey, what is the best contact email for creator partnerships? She says that right there she's never not gotten a brand deal from that. From following an account, stalking them for basically a week, engaging with everything they say, and then DMing them. And proving to them that she actually is invested in them. And getting their emails after that. Which I thought it was interesting. I don't know if it's just her, but she also said that.
Does she have any credibility behind her? What does her account look like? Because I will say this, if you are trying to get an influencer deal, it's a lot easier if you already have a pretty big brand on your account.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
Because you just have so much more credibility.
And brands want the biggest influencers you can. They want the people with the most amount of followers, 100%. So the more followers you have.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm talking about if you are a person and you are reaching out to someone to try to be an influencer for your product, if you have a following, then that influencer will be more likely to work with you because you have somewhat of a credibility.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So anyway, she has 32.8K followers. One thing she also talked about is, as an influencer, be really authentic with the type of brand deals you take, because people can see right through like a brand deal if it's fake or not. Like if you really like the product or if you're really just doing it to get money. People can tell. I can tell. Like I know. Like get the 10% off perk. Do you really like perk? Do you really like perk that much?
Perk Energy?
Yeah.
No.
People do it all the time. Or the Wally cases. I'm like, guys, come on.
What's a Wally case?
Anyway, these are just things that people have affiliate links to all the time, but they send stuff out.
And perk is one of them?
And perk, yeah, perk, and there's a lot of companies that do like 10% off and stuff. But anyway, all I'm saying is stuff like that, you have to be really careful because it could really turn people off. And so that's what she was saying. But she gave an example of an authentic brand deal for her. So one of the times she partnered with Crest, right, the toothpaste. It's either when she was getting married or when she started to like get on Instagram. She really wanted to fix her teeth. So she went to the dentist or whatever to get veneers. And she's like, I want the brightest you can go. And she's like, hey, your top teeth are this color, your bottom teeth aren't. Like, we want them to match, so you're gonna have to fix that. The dentist was basically like, you can't fix that discoloration between your top and bottom teeth. And she said, okay, oh yeah, let me go get these Crest whitening strips. So she went home, got her Crest whitening strips, and she used it like in a week, she used it like 3 or 4 times, like way beyond the recommended usage of the Crest whitening strips. 3 or 4 times a week? Yeah.
That's a lot.
I think, yeah, you're only supposed to use it like once every like week, basically. So anyway, she was told that, and she used the whitening strips, and it came back, and she was like, oh my gosh, they're a perfect match. She was able to get the brightest veneers, and she didn't have to worry about her teeth matching because they were the same kind.
Crest whitening strips.
Yeah, I think she just got the top done. I think that's why it was.
So she had to whiten her bottoms.
She had to whiten her bottoms, I think.
Sense.
I don't know.
I mean, that would make sense, because you can't get veneers on the bottom.
No, you can.
You can?
It's just more expensive. Veneers are like $3,000 per tooth, I think. Anyway, but she talked about that, and so she posted that on her story, and she's actually able to get a huge brand deal from that.
With Crest?
Yeah, because of her personal experience with Crest that she posted and she tagged them. So she suggests all the time influencers.
That right there is huge, because everyone knows those whitening strips don't work.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
They don't.
Dude, then you haven't seen my teeth when I haven't done whitening strips.
You testify to those whitening strips.
Yes, I do. I testify. It's also something that they suggest an influencer do, which one thing that she actually suggested is you need to gather data for that brand to want to partner with you, for them to realize that it is a smart move to partner with you. She suggested that influencers post about all the brands that they like, all the brands that they use in their homes, right? Tag Crest, tag Magnolia Homes, tag any brand of anything that you love and start putting on your story. Tag them in that story, first of all, that brand, and then just start collecting data. Start collecting data off of people who voted on your polls, people who interacted with your post by hearting it, people who viewed your story, and basically what you do is you take that data and you create a whole presentation on it. So here's the points, here's how many people have interacted with me. If you give me an affiliate link, I can get you people to click on it and view your story. Create brand awareness around you guys, but also people are going to buy your products because they've already interacted with me and they trust me on this. And it's already so authentic that they'll want to click on your stuff and they like your stuff. By doing that, she said it's worked with her a lot too when she's had people, when she's done that for different brands, because they realize what a smart partnership looks like. how much they should give to the influencer, how much they should pay the influencer for what they're going to get back. So from that, what do you think would be a good strategy for our brand?
I mean, going off what you said and just some knowledge that I have, I recently watched this video from Alex Hormozy. It went so in depth. It was like an hour long. So in depth on how to get influencers for your brand. And going on about what you said, I mean, obviously the last thing you said doesn't really apply to us as much, I would say, because we're on the other end of your story.
No, I think it does. From a brand, what that tells me is if we truly want to be the most efficient with our time and with our money and compensating the influencers with the right amount, we should ask them, hey, if you really want a brand deal with us, here's an affiliate link. You can go ahead and post this on your story and give us the data back, and then we can think about start paying you for something. Or something that I also like thought from this is, as a company, what we should do is we should message influencers that are exactly the type of influencers we like, right? We're not just going to message like random people in the world and do this, but the right person. We're going to get their mailing address. We're going to mail them our product, and we're going to give them an affiliate link with no contract in there saying that they have to post this. But what that does is that creates authenticity for them. If they really like the product, like truly like the product, they will post about it. And they'll be authentic. And when someone is authentic on Instagram and on YouTube and on these platforms, and they're posting about a product they love, their followers will see that and actually want to click on it. Okay, so sorry, I interrupted you, but you were talking about the thing that you learned from Alex Hormozy and how it relates to kind of the example that I just shared.
It doesn't necessarily relate exactly to the example that you shared, but it does relate to us specifically and what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And what we can do right now. So Alex had this huge video, talked about the right way to get influencers and how he did it through his brand to then scale his company. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he did. He said I can't remember the term that he said, but he was like, it could literally quadruple your business overnight going through influencers like it did mine. And so how Alex Hormozy got big was he started 3 companies. There was Gym Launch, then there was a nutrition company, and then there was a AI company that tracks gym results.
Okay.
Where this was his 3. And then he combined those and ended up selling them. Anyways, what he did to get those companies so big was influencer marketing. That was his main strategy.
Because that was probably, I would assume, like 10 years ago that he started doing that?
No, it was like 2017, 2016.
Oh, okay.
So what he did was, rather than focusing on all these little teeny tiny influencers, what he did was he found one big influencer to partner with. And his pitch was this: I want to bring you on as a partner, and this is what you're going to get. I'm going to be doing all the work. All you have to do is post about it. All you have to do is talk about it. You are my only client. So I'm focused completely on you, no one else. I have no other people I'm working with. It's all on you. I'll do all the work. All you have to do, all I just need is your audience. You wouldn't even have to do a dime of anything. No work on your end. And it was a pitch that came along with that. And he said every time he would do that, he would literally just land these huge deals. And he's like, so what you need to do, if that's something you want to do right now, if you want to find that one huge influencer, because you could get 10 people with 100,000 followers and one person with 1 million followers. And it's the same amount of people that are being reached. I mean, there's 10 different people, right? But then there's 10 people you have to worry about, 10 relationships you have to nurture.
Yeah.
If you just have one, then you can put your complete focus in them, and it's a lot more personal.
Well, it's kind of like the whole Nike and Michael Jordan thing.
He talked about that. That's exactly what he talked about. Ooh, you just brought it. You just refreshed my memory.
Okay.
What he did was he talked about how there's 2 examples he gave. There was Nike and Michael Jordan, and how Nike was teeny and Michael Jordan was huge. Yeah. If you're teeny, find your Michael Jordan, like Nike did. That's how Nike's so big, is obviously they used Michael Jordan to get to where they are, right? In basketball world, they were already big and running and everything like that. And there's another example of Logan Paul with his Prime brand. Yeah. And this other company, I can't even remember its name anymore. But what they did was they created the product. They created everything, right? Nike created the product around Michael Jordan. Yeah. He sold it that way because it was Michael Jordan's product.
It was his shoe.
Exactly. But this company with Logan Paul's created the product and sold it through Logan Paul. So Logan Paul didn't create Prime. It wasn't him. But that's what they did. And so there's 2 strategies you can do. You can create your product around the influencer, because if you do that, then there's just one of them.
Yeah.
So what I think it can apply for us is we can take our product and we can make a limited edition around one influencer.
Well, I've seen that.
And sell it under that person.
Well, I think they do that with, I think Stanley's or Hydro Flask or something, but they'll do collections where basically they'll find these influencers with thousands of followers, and they'll create a collection where they only have a certain amount, it's going to sell out, and we're only selling it online, and then the influencer posts about it, and it just gets sold out. Yeah. And they get a certain amount of the profit. So it's almost like this glorified affiliate link.
Yep.
But it's all based around the influencer, which I think that's interesting because it's hard to me, almost like it would be extremely hard to take your whole entire business and brand that specifically to one person. Like Nike didn't just brand their whole business around Michael Jordan.
No.
At the time. But from what kind of I'm hearing you say, some people go out and just brand it around this whole entire person hoping that they land. Yeah. That person. But what if they don't? Then they've surrounded their whole branding is around this person, and they're going to have to switch, and that's going to be extremely hard.
It's an insanely massive risk. But if you do it right, you could literally become a 9-figure company in 1 year.
Yeah. Who do you think would be a good?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan?
Oh, 100%. Joe Rogan is literally one of our ideal clients. When I went to 10X
What about The Rock?
Con, The Rock would be good. Let me tell the story. I went to 10X Growth Con. And before I even thought about Joe Rogan, I sat by this guy, and he's in real estate. And I was like, dude, do you have any ideas of what I could do? Influencer marketing? He's like, you should send Joe Rogan one of your products every single day.
She just shows up to his door.
Every day.
Yeah, he's going to have like a million of them.
Yes, because until he talks about it in his podcast. And not as a promotion, as like a laughter.
Like, this guy won't
This
freaking
guy
stop sending
literally
me
has sent me all these products. I have all these products. I could make profit from selling these products myself, right? He will talk about it on the podcast. And one mention, 5 seconds of Joe Rogan's podcast is worth hundreds of thousands.
So going back to what you were talking about. So instead of going after 10 different people, go after the one, because you only have to focus on one relationship and nurture that relationship instead of taking care of 10. Well, and relating that to real estate, it's actually something, I do this all the time, but everything relates so well to real estate. From our mentors, from what we've heard, instead of buying 10 residential homes, go buy a multifamily complex with 10 units in it. Because guess what? It's one loan you have to get. One loan you have to get approved. One insurance that you have to work with. One mortgage broker that you have to work with. One place you go to check up on the property every day. And I think that's something that so many people right now are not understanding with the whole fad of like, get a bunch of these residential homes, it'll make you rich, right? But you don't understand that the time that it's taking for you to collect all 10 different residential homes is significantly more than if you would just spend all that time getting one multifamily unit of 10 units. Does that make sense?
100%. I could not agree with you more on that. That is just so smart to do that, especially with real estate. And going back on influencers, another thing that Alex talks about in that podcast was going right on with what you were saying. If you get these single family homes, you're going to be able to pick up a home here and there and here and there. And eventually you'll probably be able to get quite a big portfolio. Whereas if you just want the 10, it's going to take you a lot longer to get that.
Yes.
You're going to have to look at way more deals than if you were going to look at these homes, right? Because you could literally, I mean, how easy is it to close on a residential home? It's cake.
It's not like that. It's how easy it is to outbid anyone else on a residential home.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to outbid someone on that versus outbidding someone on multifamily apartment unit.
Yeah.
But
so one thing he says is, he's like, don't set your eye on one. If you have someone you think could be really, really good, you don't have them yet. So he's like, what I did was with these massive influencers, people of over a million followers a day, for weeks straight, I DM'd, personally messaged, personally stalked 100 of them.
Wow.
Every single day. And I would message them every day until I got the one. He's like, it could take you weeks, it could take you months. But once you find the one, you're set.
I agree.
You are gold.
And going back to real estate again, Grant Cardone talks about this. And you finally find that one deal that like you're like, hey, it checks all these boxes off. put your heart and soul into it and go after that, but you got to know when to just let go. Because what will happen, he's like, I don't know what the percentage he says, but he's like, there's so many times that you go into a deal and you love it so much that the seller knows you love it so much, and so they're going to rack up the price. But then when you finally say, hey, dude, I'm out, like, this doesn't matter, the seller might actually come back to you and be like, okay, never mind, I'll do it for this lower price. But so just from what you were saying, if you find something that you love, perfect location, perfect everything, but the price is off and the seller won't budge on it, you got to let it go, because it's not going to be worth it.
Yep.
It's going to be more of a pain.
Yeah, you have to learn how to say no. And it's really hard at first, because it's really hard to see a different option and a different route, and you think you have this, you think you have it.
You think you finally got it.
Oh, you see one red flag and you're like, oh, no, it's okay. I just want it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to be more patient.
Yeah.
Well, if you would just wait, you would actually find the perfect deal.
Yeah, that's when you put your blinders on as a horse.
Yep.
If you're just solely looking
on the path.
Well, if you're solely just looking at it and you have your blinders on, you're not going to see all the red flags around you, all the competitors around you, the house that's over there, the house that's over there. You're going to be so closed off to it. So you have to be open, but know what you want and go after it really hard.
So I'll talk about this real quick. So here's a sample message script to message to your big influencer, your million follower influencer. Longtime fan, first time messenger. I own a company that partners with influencers to start companies they own. Based on your following, it looks like you could generate anywhere from X to Y amount of dollars per month in recurring revenue. Here's screenshots of people who started this month alone. You get the majority of the profits. We do majority of the work. Would you be up for a 15-minute call?
So he's not just going for one big dog. He's going for multiple.
And then you could do this too, right? He's like, the more personalized, the better. And if they don't respond, congratulations, you just got practice, right? Getting turned down, that's something Alex talks about. It's your rejections are the best, because you get more practice on a rejection than you do on a win. And then he says bonus points advanced. If it's your dream influencer, offer to fly out to them to show them you're serious. So fly out to them. If you incur costs, they'll take it more seriously.
Yeah.
So they'll automatically think you're more about it. And then even more bonus points, if you offer to fly out to them and offer to pay them for the time you get with them as well.
Yeah, well, I think that right there, that is showing respect to the influencers. The number one thing that, the number one complaint that I heard at that conference that I went to was influencers are not being respected. Don't give things out for free. Don't do cheap stuff that you know you should be paid more. Like, brands need to realize and start coming around to how much influencers are actually, the cost of influencers actually are. So, which is interesting, because at the beginning of this podcast, we said, I mentioned how I think that influencer marketing it's one of the most costly ways to market. And from what I heard from them, it's about to get just even more costly.
Everything you said was totally correct. I totally agree with you on it is expensive, but I do think influencers are worth it.
Well, and I think they're getting paid.
They're not
I think eventually they're going to stand up for themselves. Truly, I think they're worth so much more.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the ones who are doing that are the ones who are actually getting the results that they want, because they stand up for themselves.
And they're being respected, and they're actually getting the amount of money they need to create really, really good content. Anyway, so anyway, continue. What were you going to say?
So in the rest of that presentation with Alex, he goes through and he says, now bonus points. When you fly out to them, you pay them for their time. Give them a one time product personalized to them.
Right then and there.
Right then and there.
Okay.
You give it to them. And so they have your product personalized to them, their brand, whatever it is. And if they want to sell that one, they can, but they don't have to. It can just be their personal one. So what I think we should do is we should make a product personalized to Joe Rogan.
Okay. We need to find out what scent he likes and scent the product that. You know
yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm sure there's some podcast. If anyone's listening to this and knows the answer to this, message us. But I'm sure that there's some sort of scent he's talked about that he uses all the time, or that he loves. Some cologne. We need to include it in that message to him. Hey, we know that you like this cologne. This is the scent of it. This is you. This is who. This product is supposed to be you.
He's he's a bow hunter. He loves the outdoors.
He's an entertainer.
He's a business guy.
Yeah. He's jacked.
He's jacked.
Yeah, these are also super drop hints for what our product actually is.
Yeah.
And the target audience. Anyway, something else actually I want to bring up. I know that we are running out of time, but if I have a mom and pop business, Would influencer marketing actually really be worth it?
If you are a small business right now and you want to get on social media and you want to get into influencer marketing, the two things you need to do is, one, you need to pick a face of your business and you need to make your social media brand around a face. One person that someone can follow because they'll be hooked to that brand. Or two, if you don't necessarily want to get into social media but still want to use influencers, if you're in a town, find someone really powerful in your town, whether it's the mayor, whether it's some sort of anyone, whether it's some famous high schooler who's really good at sports, and essentially sponsor them, make them a bunch of merchandise, send them your product, create a collection with that specific person. Even though they're not an influencer, they're known in the community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you have a pizza restaurant, name a pizza from a specific person in that town and put that on social media and tell people about that, and you'll get so much more business.
Well, and make sure you definitely have like their permission, but you can use their face, put it out there, and their social media to put it out there.
And that person that you sponsor will be incredibly happy. You won't have to, they won't charge you either. It'll be completely free. You just do it, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, they're promoting me.
Yeah.
Another thing you could do is in the upcoming elections. That's a really good idea. Small town elections of literally like the mayor, the board, the whoever, you know what I'm talking about, the sheriff.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Like the different people who are running for sheriff. You could build your business model or
you could build an advertisement around that. That's what I specifically want to hit on.
And they'll eat there with you.
You can do little advertisements for them.
Yeah.
Like week long. I remember, I don't know when it was. I think it was sometime when I was in high school or I was in middle school when Walmart did that.
Really?
They had huge signs. I'm talking about like 8-foot signs hanging from the ceiling of famous high school athletes in the area. So they had someone from Nessa, someone from Payette, someone from Ontario and Fruitland. And it was so cool. I still remember that. Walmart did that.
They didn't put you up there?
This is when I was in middle school, babe.
Oh, dang it. If you were in high school.
No, but I definitely thought about that. I was definitely like, dude,
if
I want to be on Walmart one day.
If you were in high school, they would have put you up. They would have put you up there.
Anyway.
For sure.
Maybe, but.
Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. A lot of good information here about influencer marketing. And if you currently aren't in the space, see how it can apply to you. Everyone here either owns a company or works for a company.
Or wants to.
Right? If you own a company, figure out what you can do to get more involved in social media. Figure out your influencers you can use. If you work for a company, create some sort of campaign or idea and present it to your boss.
Yeah, trust me, if you want to earn respect in your business, if you have ideas and you bring it to your managers, that right there tells them that you are so invested and you're so worth the time of them helping you and being invested in you.
Yep. Everyone can apply this to their life. 100%. If you work for someone or if you own a business, you can do both.
And if you have any questions about your specific circumstance, reach out to either one of us. We want you guys to know that we are there to help you guys. We have ideas and we have our own opinions. And if you guys are just like, hey, I don't know who to talk to about this, message us. Even if you think it's a stupid idea or you don't know what to do and you're completely at like ground zero, I promise you, if there's anyone in the world that won't judge you for that, it's going to be us because that's where we were.
Yep. Anyways, thank you everyone so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.